Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Agent Flow, where we are training to be productive as f***. Today, we're going to talk about our calendars, our workflow, and how we can be more productive with our day-to-day. We're going to talk about some time blocking skills and what we're going to be doing to make sure that we are productive every day as agents in our industry. So, what I really want to talk to you guys today about, before we get into the actual calendar, is understanding our business and our job day-to-day as realtors. So, as we go through today, I want you to take some notes, think about what your activities and what your money-making activities are, so we can really make sure that we're putting down the best possible schedule for you guys to get paid. Again, guys, this is all about getting paid. It's about making you guys more productive and helping you guys out in your real estate journey. So when we think about what is our job as realtors, loan officers, people in our industry, we're going to break it down to 5 things that you guys need to be paying attention to and what you guys need to be doing. We're going to go through that right now. So we're going to start off with the first thing. We're going to go ahead and put out our role playing, our conversation training. Okay? So our conversation training, and hopefully you guys can read my writing. I'm going to go over all this in great detail, maybe even put some captions out on these videos for you. But when we talk about our conversation training, this is our script practice. This is our role play, right? Just like your favorite athlete or your favorite actor, we're not just going to step on the stage in this field without being prepared, right? So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we're prepared. We're getting with peers, and we're starting these groups where we can work together to handle objections and talk about what we're hearing in the marketplace as we're having conversations. Okay, so our conversation training is going to be the first thing that we're going to think about. Second job as a realtor or as a loan officer or anybody kind of in sales is prospecting for new clients, right? And when we say prospecting, we're talking about having conversations with folks that we haven't had conversations with yet. These should be new relationships that we're looking to build. So we're going to go ahead and put down, after conversation training, we're going to go ahead and talk about prospecting, okay? Okay, so prospecting, again, this is reaching out to people that we haven't talked to before. This could be for sale by owners, expireds, just listed, just sold calls, right? Farming. We're calling and we're talking to people that we haven't talked to in order to create a relationship or find some right now business, okay? And through the scripts and the great questions we ask, and that's how we're going to kind of unfold those conversations with these new people and create those new relationships, okay? So we're going to go into combo training so we know what to say when we're talking to our folks, and then we're going to go right into our prospecting. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about follow-up, okay? And we're going to dive into each one of these as we go in, but I'm going to kind of map it out for you. So we're going to our follow-up. Now, think about follow-up as people that you've already talked to at least once. These are people that you're trying to, peel back that onion, get a little bit better relationship as time goes on. So every time that you talk to these folks or every time you add value to them by providing them their property values or whatever that looks like, we are, taking that relationship to a newer, deeper level. And at the end of the day, that's all we're looking to do is scale that, talk to new people, bring them into our world, and follow up with them and kind of deepen and nurture that relationship until the time when they're ready to make a move, right? We can't dictate when our clients and our friends and family make a move, so all we can do is provide value to them until they are ready to make that move, and then we're ready to jump in and help them out with whatever that is as realtors, okay? So after our follow-up, then we're going to kind of get into the last 2 parts of the business and your last 2 responsibilities, which are going to be go on appointments and get those agreements gained, right? So we're prospecting for new relationships, and we understand that those new relationships are what's going to cause that business to happen for the years to come, right? So we're going to go ahead and say go on appointments and get agreements gained for our 4th job. So we're just going to put appointments. That's your 4th job, right? And now we only have one final job as realtors, and that's to service the business. Whether that's putting a sign in the yard, marketing our property, doing some just listed, just sold calls to help our seller get their property sold, or whether that's going out and showing properties, helping our buyers get pre-approved, all those type of things, servicing that business that we've gotten through those appointments. All right. So number 5, and that's going to be service the business. Service the business that comes our way. Okay? So when we think about where does our business come from? So let's pause for a minute on the calendar, because we are building this calendar filled with money-making activities. So we want to understand what those money-making activities are. We have to understand where our business is coming from and where our money is coming from. So let's pause for a minute and kind of talk about that for a second. So right down here, we're going to kind of talk about so when we know that, on average, we know that 40% of our business, 40 to 50% of our business is going to come from our sphere of influence. Okay, this is going to be the people that we already know. These are going to be people that we already know and that we're following up with. So your follow-up is where you're going to get 40% of your business, okay? How do we get people to follow up with? Okay, well, that's going to go back to this prospecting. We prospect to build that database, and then we follow up with our database to actually pull the business out, right? So we're really not prospecting for business. If you're prospecting for business, that's a fast sprint. You're going to get very worn out. I would suggest we prospect for relationships. As we build relationships in the community, we have a lot of opportunities to ask, what can I do for you? What can I do for your friends and family? Do you have any neighbors? I'd love to invite you to a client event, right? We can do so much when we just concentrate on that relationship rather than that transaction. So I know that 40 to 50% of my business is going to come from my sphere of influence. So my goal day to day is, how do I grow my sphere of influence? Okay, so we're going to do that a lot of different ways, and I'm going to show you that. 40% from your sphere of influence, we're going to take about 30%. This is going to be marketing, internet leads. These are the things that you're doing to get your name out there and kind of showing people that you're in the business. You're going to attract a certain amount of business just by being out there doing business, right? A lot of this is advertisement. Some of this 30% might actually cost you some money to make happen, right? So the next one, we're going to say 20%. This is going to be a big one. This might be a bigger number for you new agents in the industry. This is your open houses, right? Open houses and open house activities can land you about 20%, 20 to 25% of your business in a year, depending on your business model and where you're putting your prospecting efforts. I say do open houses at least 2 weekends out of the month. If you can, 1 to 3, average 2 weekends a month. Half your weekends should be spent doing open houses. Now, when we get down to open houses, we're also going to talk a little bit about prospecting around our open houses, because this is a great opportunity. If you're a new agent, doing open houses is probably the number one activity that you could be doing. Find an agent in your office that needs help hosting open houses. Maybe they got 3 launches this weekend. They can't be at 3 places at one time, so you could be help to them by hosting an open house. But this is also going to give you tons of opportunities to host an open house, talk to unrepresented buyers, do some door knocking around the neighborhood, do some just listed, just sold calls, right? All these things to have conversations with folks in the community. At the end of the day, the conversations you have and the questions you ask is going to determine where your business goes, right? And again, that's why we always start with conversation training. So you can jump on the link. We have conversation training Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. a.m. 8:30 to 9 a.m. Central Time. You can jump on the link, get on there with us, some script ninjas. We like to get on there and just throw objections and go over what's going on in the market and just try to really have a mastermind every morning so we can get right into our phone calls and really be productive, right? We want to be productive AF every time we get out there doing our job, because we want to be efficient, right? Last but not least, 10%. Now, they used to call this luck. Well, they still call it luck. I don't call it luck. I call it plugging in. When you plug into the office, I like to say, when you're not making any money and there's not really anything going on for you, that's where you need to put on your best suit and get down to the office and start mingling with your co-workers and your peers and see what you can come up with, right? Start masterminding, start plugging in. A great example I like to use is I had to teach a class one time. Somebody called out. I had to jump in and teach a class. I had a client that wanted to see a house, so I had an agent there in the office, and I said, "Hey, Pearson, can you go show this house? Get a referral fee, right? Get a showing assistant kickback, right? So because I can't be in 2 places at one time. So for the people that are plugged in, they're going to get those opportunities. So I want you to think about, as you go through life and as you go through your day-to-day, be looking for these opportunities, right? Train your brain to focus on what's out there around you, because there's opportunities whizzing by us every day. The people that train the brain to focus on those opportunities and to kind of pull them out of thin air, right? That's what we're going to train you to do. So we want to understand where our business is coming from. Again, 40% is your sphere of influence. So you guys, you need to be building that sphere of influence, and you need to be communicating with it every day, systematically. Do your DTD2s. If you don't know what that is, reach out to me. We can get you on a great schedule to make sure that you're making that money. As you start making money, you're going to start spending money on more marketing, and pretty soon you'll find that about 30% of your business will be coming from those marketing activities, okay? Again, 20 to 25% open houses. If you're a brand new agent, this might be closer to 50%, right? If you have a very small sphere of influence and you're just now getting into business, you might be really heavy at open houses, and that might be a bigger number. But I want you to think about doing those open houses. And again, in a minute, we're going to talk about the activities that you could really get into and pull some great money and great relationships out of these open houses. And then again, 10%, don't work from home, guys. Get your butt to the office. Make sure you're being productive. We don't want to sit here and hope business comes to us. We don't want to wish. Hope is not a strategy, right? We're going to make sure that we are focused on activities that are going to cause us to get paid. We're going to build a calendar out, fill it with those activities, and then all we got to do, guys, is follow our calendar at a high level. Honor your calendar, and you'll get paid, okay? So let's talk about that calendar. Let me grab my eraser. We're going to move this a little bit, get us some more room on this board, and let's go over the perfect calendar for a high-producing agent, right? So we know what we have to do. We know why we have to do it, okay? So let's break it down and show you guys what I mean by this. So when I write my calendar out, I'm going to go ahead and color code it, right? So I can know that I may need to be somewhere or what activities are being done. So anytime it's a money-making activity, I'm going to go ahead and color code that green, right? So I'm going to do prospecting. I'm going to do 9 to 10 every day. And then I'm going to have another one 10 to 11, okay? And I'm gonna color code these in green, but I don't wanna just put prospecting from 9 to 10, right? So I wanna be very specific about who I'm gonna be calling, because I don't wanna wait 3 minutes thinking about what list or who I'm gonna be calling, right? Again, we're here to be productive as f***. We don't wanna sit around wasting time. We wanna sit around and make some money, right? So from 9 to 10, I'm not just gonna write prospecting, I'm gonna write for sale by owners, expireds, just listed, just whatever that looks like. And we can even take it to another level and say, maybe prospecting from 9 to 10 on Mondays is for sale by owners, because I want to call them and talk about the weekend and talk about how many showings they didn't have and all the offers they didn't get. So I'm going to call for sale by owners on Mondays. Maybe Tuesdays from 9 to 10, I'm going to call expireds. Wednesdays from 9 to 10, I'm going to do just listed, because I always put my homes on the market on a Wednesday. And so I'm going to call around and do just listed calls on a Wednesday. So we're gonna be very granular about who we're calling during these times. So I'm gonna kind of maybe write, for example, we're gonna write for sale by owner, and then we might write expires. Okay? So we know who we're calling, we know why we're calling, and we know when we're calling them, right? We're gonna be productive, we're gonna get it done. We're going to also go ahead and put follow-up in green, because these are green, these are money-making activities, these are money-making conversations where we're talking about, hey, how you doing, Mr. Seller? I just wanted to make sure I was giving you a call on a regular basis. How you been since the last time we spoke? Is there any questions you have about the latest market report that I sent over to you? Anything I could be doing for you right now? Oh, by the way, who do you know from Worker Church that's looking to make a move right now, or looking to make a move in the next 12 months that I could be talking to, right? We're going to always be talking to our folks, making sure that they remember us. That way, when somebody does need help, oh, hey, you need to call my man RT. He's always calling me. He's always around. He's always providing great value. That's what we're looking for. So follow up, that's going to be from 11 to 12. And when you think about follow up, these are people that you've already talked to. These are people that you're trying to deepen that relationship all the way to your friends and family, right? Everybody that we're following up with is somebody that we've spoken to before, and we're trying to move them down and just deepen that relationship as we go, okay? So this is also going to be when we do our to-dos. So if you have a great CRM setup, you're starting 8x8, you have 36 touches, and you have these different touch points for all your clients, and you might have 1,000 clients in your CRM. So if you're smart, you're having these to-dos set, and you're putting people on these different workflows or drip campaigns to where your system is telling you, hey, reach out to client A at this time and this day because he's on this schedule, right? So you want to have these follow-up schedules to make it really easy for you. Again, systems, tools, right? Make it easy for yourself. Your calendar is a system. It's a tool. It's something that we use to make things easier for ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and do our follow-ups. We're going to do our DTD2s. This is, if you don't know what a DTD2 call is, this is do the database 2. It's where we take 2 letters out of the alphabet every week and we call them. And what happens is you basically call everybody in your database once a quarter. So every 3 months, they're getting a phone call from Ryan, and it's, hey, this is RT. Just wanted to give you a quick call to see how you're doing. What's going on? What's new? Hey, I saw you were going to the beach last week on Facebook. Great pictures, all this stuff, right? We're building rapport, and we're asking great questions to figure out what can I be doing for you? Where can we identify a problem or a gap? And then what solutions can we come up with and help our folks, right? And we do this through the conversations, through the follow-up, and through asking great questions. Part of the key to asking a great question is asking a great follow-up question, okay? So that's another class, and we're going to get into that as we go. But for follow-ups, I want you to remember to-dos and DTD2s, okay? To-dos and DTD2. That's do the database 2. That means call your database 2. Don't just spend all your time prospecting. You got to follow up with the folks you prospect. I want you to think about it like this, guys. If you spend tons of time prospecting and tons of time and energy on these tough phone calls in order to create these relationships, but we don't spend any time following up with them, then all that happens is we create a bunch of relationships and they just forget about us and they go buy a house with somebody else. Same thing, if we just, all we do is follow up, then all we're doing is talking to the same people over and over, and our world isn't growing any bigger, and we're only going to continue to sell the same amount of houses every year, year after year, and our business isn't going to grow. So we need both of them. We need prospecting and we need lead follow-up. But here's the thing, guys. We can't do either one of them if we don't practice first, right? Tom Brady doesn't go out on the field on Sunday before he goes out there Monday through Friday and practices, right? So we're going to practice like the pros, right? Tom Cruise doesn't step on the set and they don't start spending money if he doesn't practice the lines, right? They know what they're going to do. They're professionals, right? We're professionals as well. We got to take it that serious if you want to make serious money. And right here at Agent Flow, we all want to make serious money. Am I right? That was a tie down. All right, guys. So the next one is appointments. This is where it kind of comes, all these 3 things kind of come to a head with appointments, right? So appointments, we usually have to be somewhere for that. So I'm going to kind of color code that a red, an orange, yellow, something where I'm going to see that right off the top of my head. And we're going to kind of do appointments and service that business. This is going to be kind of, well, we're going to put maybe a little red line for lunch, right? So maybe we'll go to lunch from 12 to 1. And then from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, this is going to be kind of a block where you're going on appointments, you're servicing the business. So you might have, you might have 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, okay? And these are either going to be showings, meeting clients at the office for a buyer consultation, meeting somebody at the kitchen table for a listing consultation, right? But we understand that every day we're not going to have an afternoon booked up for appointments, okay? So this is where you really got to make a decision on what you're going to do with your time and where you're going to take your business, okay? What I suggest you do is double up on some prospecting, right? So this is a great time to maybe get a couple of hours of prospecting, right? Or we could go and we could do some self-growth, right? We could attend a class. That's always fun. But what's real fun, right? We could go in there and we could teach a class, right? If you want to become an expert at something, you teach it, right? Train, teach classes. Anything that you can do to kind of to work on growth, study up on things, anything that you can do to make yourself better so you can make yourself better for your clients. And then up here in the top, we're going to do something, script practice is real important. So we're going to go ahead and make that in red, something we make sure we see, right? So again, I want to make sure that anytime I have to be somewhere, whether that's a Zoom class, or at a kitchen table, I want to make sure that's in a red or something that's going to flash out of my eyes. So the night before, when I'm looking at my calendar and I'm trying to decide when I need to be somewhere, how long is my drive time, what am I going to wear, I can look at my calendar and kind of tell a lot about my week, right? And again, what's that going to do? It's going to save us time and it's going to make us more efficient, more productive, right? So here at Agent Flow, that's our whole thing. We always want to make things run smoother. We want to make you be able to make more money with less energy. We want to make sure that you guys are getting everything out of every day. So this is your perfect calendar. Guys, write it down. Make sure that you're, take a couple hours out 1 week. Dive into your calendar. Write a GPS around it. If you don't know what a GPS, come up with a goal. Okay, we're going to come up with a goal. And then we're going to come up with 3 priorities. What are 3 things that have to happen for this goal to happen, right? So we're going to come up with priority 1, priority 2. Okay? And then once we come up with priority 1, we're going to come up with 5 strategies for that priority. So, for instance, if I want to lose weight, losing weight is the goal. And then priority 1 might be go to exercise. Priority 2 would be to eat right. And priority 3, hydrate, okay? Now, we're going to take priority 1, exercise, and we're going to take 5 strategies that are going to help us exercise better. That might be putting our exercise clothes out on the end of the bed the night before. It might be getting a gym membership. Whatever that looks like, we're going to have 5 strategies to go along with that 1 priority. And when we have those 3 priorities that have to happen in order for us to achieve our goal, then we can really just build our calendar around those strategies and those priorities, and that goal will happen, right? So whether it's selling houses, losing weight, whatever it looks like, right? Whatever goal we have, we can really chunk it down to some priorities and some strategies around those priorities, and then we can build a calendar out filled with those strategies and priorities. And then, like I said, we can make it simple. You don't have to be a genius. All you have to do is wake up every day and follow the calendar. As long as we take some time out to really understand, brainstorm, and think about what does a money-making calendar look like and what are the activities that I need to get done in order to make this happen. And then we just write it out. And then all you have to do is honor your calendar. And guys, I know you can do it. I look forward to seeing you at more trainings. If there's anything else that you guys want to see, please drop us a like. Please drop us something in the comments. Let us know what you would like to see. And guys, I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, everybody.